What's on, ladies and gentlemen? My name's Ross, I like games, and today I'm going to be showing you a game of Keyforge. I'm going to be commentating a game of Keyforge. I am pretty gosh darned excited about both of these things. I've not tried my hand at commentating Keyforge today, but let's have a gander, shall we? I am, of course, going to be the Wossy. I'm going to be playing my deck Yeatman of Diverse, featuring Dis, Logos, and Mars. And I'm playing against my friend Gengar C, who is going to be playing Scholar Y Ophis. I will pop links to both of those decks in the description so you can go and check them out. I am going first. I have got Dis, so I'm just going to start off by playing Life Word. At some point during the game, I can sacrifice that, and it's an Omni ability, so I can do that on my turn regardless of my active house, and I can stop Gengar playing creatures in the future. I can pick a turn when I don't get creatures. That's pretty nice. Plus, you know, I got an Ember bonus for playing it. So Gengar's playing Brobar, Sanctum, and Shadows, and just chucking down 2 Champion Anafiels and a Potion of Invulnerability very, very quickly, which is very much like my Life Word. They've got an Omni ability, they can sacrifice it regardless of their active house, and then get invulnerability on their creatures for the rest of their turn. That sounds pretty good to me, to be honest with you. Then, of course, Champion and Nafiel, I mean, 2 of them, that's a bit annoying because they've both got Taunt, meaning that their neighbours cannot be attacked unless they also have Taunt. So moving into my turn, I'm not going to be forging a key. I don't have enough Ember. I am going to be going for Logos here, and I'm chucking down a Crazy Killing Machine and a Dr. Escatera, which would get me extra Ember if it wasn't for the fact that Gengar's not forged a key yet. So, I'm playing Sloppy Lab Work. I get to archive a card and discard a card. I get an Ember bonus for playing it, which really, really helps. I'm building up a little stash of Ember slowly. Now, I am discarding Martian Hounds. I love Martian Hounds, but it's such a situational card, and it's just, it's not working right now. And I'm archiving Zorg, so that at some point in the future I can drag it out of my archives on a Mars turn and start smashing. So Gengar's popping down a Shield of Justice there. Basically, it protects his creatures, so he can now be doing what he wants, and he knows he's not going to be taking damage. And he gets the Commander Ramiel down as well, which when it reaps, you get to use a friendly non-Sanctum creature. That's going to help a little bit. So he's getting a good board set up. He's got a couple of Champion Anafiel. He's got a Commander Ramiel going down there as well. So I'm going to go for a Mars card, get my Zorg out of my archives, play Zorg straight away. Now, Zorg is so good that it enters play stunned, so I'm going to kind of play it down. It's going to take a little while. I'm also getting a couple other creatures down there, a Zizix the Many and an Uxlix the Zookeeper, and it really is setting me up for future turns. None of those creatures are doing very much at the moment, and Zorg is stunned, right? So I'm going to have to use that to unstun it, and then can I use it in 2 Mars turns time? I'm building a board for the future. Gengar's already up and rolling. They've got 3 Sanctum creatures there ready to go that can reap and attack and all of that stuff, whereas I'm sitting here just like, but I've got a couple of artifacts down. I've got my 3 creatures. I can work with this in the future. Now, Nerve Blast is a little bit annoying. Steals 1 of my Ember, does a couple of damage, and Seeker Needle is horrible. You get to deal 1 damage to a creature and then gain an Ember if it destroys it. So clearly Gengar's going to be trying to make sure that they can be destroying some of my creatures, finishing them off using Seeker Needle. Good news is Gengar wasn't able to do any reaping because that was a Shadow's turn, so at least they didn't build up their Ember too much. They're stuck at 4 Ember for now. I mean, I'm stuck at 1, so I'm still not giving them too much sympathy here. I do play the Terror, but my opponent's got Ember, so I don't get to gain any. But I play Lash of Broken Dreams. I adore Lash of Broken Dreams. It's an artifact, and you can only use it on a Dis turn. It's not an Omni ability, but it makes your opponent have to pay 3 more to forge a key. Now, Pandemonium's a weird one. When you play it, you get an Ember bonus, and each undamaged creature captures 1 from its opponent. Now, at this stage, Gengar's got 4 Ember, and I've got 2. So I don't really mind. I'm capturing 3 Ember, they're capturing 2. I'm okay with this. It's hurting them more than it's hurting me. But Pandemonium is one of these cards where sometimes it's great and sometimes it's really not. So you've got to be a little bit careful when you play it. This turn, yeah, I'm giving up a couple of Ember. I'm letting my opponent steal them, but I'm fine with that. What I'm then doing is playing Hecatomb, and that's going to get me some Ember. Because I get an Ember playing it, I destroy. I think I only had 1 creature out. I think I only had the Terror out, but I get a second Ember doing so. And then I'm using Life Wood to make sure that Gengar's not able to play any creatures on their next turn. So I know there's no new creatures coming down, which pretty much guarantees that my opponent is going to have a Sanctum turn here, because they've got 3 Sanctum creatures out, so at least they can use those creatures, reap, and all of that good stuff. And you'll notice there they use the Potion of Invulnerability. I mentioned it earlier, but I didn't actually go into it in too much detail. You do have to sacrifice it, so it wasn't used on a previous turn. It has been used on this turn. It's gone away, and would you believe it, my opponent is fighting with all of their creatures to take out all of mine, including Zorg that I never got chance to use, and taking no damage in return because of Potion of Invulnerability. So, yeah, that's pretty good, quite frankly. So I'm going to have a Mars turn here. I'm playing Soft Landing, so I can now play Xilly Marauder. I do get to capture an Ember by playing it down, which is nice, and it comes into play ready to go, so I'm just going to reap, build up my store of Ember. It's alright. It's not a powerhouse turn, quite frankly, ladies and gentlemen. It's not the best start so far, but neither of us have forged a key. We've both got 3 Ember apiece. My opponent's clearly got a better board setup than I have, but they've not got any crazy combos going. And they've captured a couple of my Ember, so if I can take down those creatures at some point, that's going to allow me to get that Ember back. Good news is Gengar doesn't have enough Ember to forge a key yet, so we're still playing a very even game as it goes. Question is, which house are they going to go for? They're going Brobnar, apparently. Now, Brobnar, weirdly enough, some people are saying it as the best house. It's not my favourite, but I can say that Troll is a very good card. 8 power, healing, and Yo Mama Mastery comes down to get Taunt and an Ember bonus. Oh, and Gauntlet of Command, so that on every Brobnar turn you get to ready and fight with a friendly creature. And it is friendly creature, does not have to be from your active house. So I know that my opponent's got a setup here such that my opponent is really going to be able to fight its way out of a lot of jams. I know that my creatures are not going to last too long in terms of fighting unless I can clear their board. The good news is I have ways to do that. So I'm going to pop a Shula down. Unfortunately, my opponent fortunately, I was able to steal one of their Ember, which was quite nice. And then Mind Barb gets rid of a Macis Asp while giving me an Ember bonus. And I did use Lash of Broken Dreams, which, I'm going to be honest, doesn't really do much. I don't think my opponent's got any extra forging keys, but it's still quite nice. And I'm discarding Pandemonium. That would be way better for my opponent here than me. They'd capture 4 Ember, I'd capture 2, and they've got so many creatures on board that they could just fight and destroy my creatures and get their Ember back. Pandemonium would be a very bad play. Earlier in the game, yeah, liked it. Good play, all in favour. This turn, no. Pandemonium's not good. I don't want to do it. Now, my opponent is readying a Follow the Leader here, which, I'm going to be honest, it's not ideal. Follow the Leader lets you fight with each friendly creature. So even though it's a Brobnar turn, Gengar's going to be able to fight here with all 3 of their Sanctum creatures on the board. Suffice to say, yeah, I mean, my creatures are already gone. Both my creatures are gone, so that was kind of inevitable, to be honest. And of course, now he doesn't even need to attack with Troll. He can just sit there and reap, and then use Gauntlet of Command to ready and in theory reap again, which is very upsetting. Although it doesn't appear to be letting him reap here. The rule essentially is that Gauntlet of Command lets you ready and fight with a friendly creature. Because there's nothing to fight, you essentially ready Troll. Oh, there's nothing to fight, you stop. But Troll is then there ready. It should be able to reap, which does make a bit of a difference. Because now they haven't checked and are kind of ready to go next turn. Let me know in the comments if you spotted something there. That does seem to be a slight issue. But I've got a dis turn. And I've used Lash of Broken Dreams. So even if Gengar had the 6th Ember, they still wouldn't be able to go. And oh look, gateway to dis. I've got to take the free chains. I don't really want to take the free chains. But I told you I had ways to get rid of all their creatures. And I've just gotten rid of all of their creatures. A small turn. But actually, I got enough Ember to roll here. And I got rid of all his stuff with gateway to dis. Unfortunately, Nerve Blast just took one of my Ember. Which means I've now just... Oh, and here we go. Urchin steals an Ember, and all of a sudden, I'm down from 7 to 5, and Bad Penny and Seeker Needle is a redonk combo. Because Seeker Needle destroys your creature, or sorry, deals 1 damage, but Bad Penny's only got 1 power, and if Seeker Needle destroys a creature, you gain an Ember. And when Bad Penny's destroyed, it goes back into your hand. So every time Gengar has a Shadow's turn, they can Seeker Needle, destroy Bad Penny, gain an Ember, and just round and round and round it goes, ladies and gentlemen. Not ideal by a long shot. This makes me very sad. They've now got enough Ember to be reaping on their next turn, or to be forging on their next turn. I don't. They are gonna go up unless I can really do something. And they also got a Dusk Runner onto their Urchin so they can steal even more. But I get my Phase Shift, which lets me play a non-logos card. I get my Ulig Megamouth down. And now I'm looking at Chaos Portal. Chaos Portal, you choose a house, reveal the top card of your deck. If it's of that house, you get to play it. Now, it is an artifact, so I'm not actually going to be able to use it this turn. But this is the stage where I start looking through my discard, and you can't guarantee with Chaos Portal that you're going to hit what you need, but what you can do is play the odds. Again, I can't use it this turn, artifacts go down exhausted, but I do get to play down a Mother, which means that I get to refill 1 more card during my draw cards phase, and I get Spectral Tunneler down, which is an artifact. I get an Ember bonus, and I essentially get to draw cards when I reap with one of my creatures later on in the game, which is quite nice. Now, the good news is I've got 6 Ember, I'm back to checking. Bad news is Gengar has forged a key, and we know I'm not going to forge a key next turn because Urchin. And then you've got Dusk Runner, so when you reap with Urchin, you get an Ember and you get to steal one. And then he's going to use Seeker Needle to destroy Bad Penny and get another Ember. And quite frankly, even though he's not got that much on the board, this combo of Seeker Needle and Bad Penny is doing a lot. Now he's using one last job, Ember bonus, purge each Shadow's creature, and steal an Ember for each creature purged. Purges 2 creatures, Urchin and Bad Penny, steals 2 Ember. This is not ideal, because now I'm down to 3 Ember. He's got 9, so he looks like he's going to go up 2 keys to 0. That is not what we want. The good news is Bad Penny's been purged, so at least the Bad Penny Seeker Needle combo is not going to be coming out. One good combo here, Library Access. Gets me a card every time I play something, so I play Fogify, which gets me the Ember bonus, and my opponent can't fight with creatures next turn, which could happen with Gauntlet of Command on a Brobnar turn. But really, I get the Ember bonus, I get to draw a card, and this is where Library Access really comes in. Play Library Access, use Fogify, draw an extra card. Now I'm using Spectral Tunneler, and I'm giving Mother an ability, so I reap, I get to draw a card while getting an Ember, and Mother's pulling its weight, to be honest with you. I'm reaping, I'm drawing a card, I'm getting an extra card every turn because of Mother. Mother's working out rather nicely. And now it's kind of working out the most I can do on this turn. I am in a library access turn. And in a library access turn, I need to really be making the most of this, drawing as many cards as I can and doing as much as I can. Now I can actually use Chaos Portal, so I'm going to try and choose which house is most likely to be on top of my deck, so that I can then make an educated decision and hopefully play an extra card. So I'm going to be choosing, what am I going to choose? I'm going to choose Logos, and it's Tentacus, which is a discard, boo, hiss, etc. Tentacus would be great to stop the Seeker Needle combination, but it's kind of irrelevant because I didn't get to use it. Wah, etc. Now I am considering Crazy Killing Machine here. I could do some bad for me, but as it is, I've discarded a Bait and Switch, which is a great card for my opponent, and I've discarded Tentacus, and now I get to get rid of some stuff. I've gotten rid of Seeker Needle, and then I have gotten rid of my Lash of Broken Dreams. I know Lash of Broken Dreams is a great card, but frankly, I don't see any good turns coming up in the future, so I don't think I'm going to get to use it. I do, however, get Jammer Pack, which means my opponent has to pay 8 in order to forge a key, which is good. It's going to mean they lose a couple of Ember, and then I get another Phase Shift down. Jammer Pack drew me a card. Phase Shift is drawing me a card, and now I get to play another non-Logos card. This deck actually has library access and free Phase Shift, and it might be the best thing about the deck. It really is a very, very nice combo. So I get to play Lab Work here, gets me an Ember bonus and lets me archive a card, and it looks like I'm going to go for Vezimer Think Drone here. I'm not going to play it this turn, so I might as well. No, I'm going to archive Biometric Backup. Again, I'm just going to wait for a turn when I can play it in the future. My next Mars turn, I'm going to be grabbing it out again. The good news is I'm running through my deck. I'm drawing lots of cards, and I'm playing lots of cards. Now I'm popping down Vezimer Think Drone, which, again, it's a Logos turn, but I've played a second Phase Shift here, so that's not a problem. And I've run through my deck. I've got myself up to 7 Ember so I can forge a key. Bad news is I did not stop my opponent. I did make them pay an extra 2 to forge because of Jammer Pack, but I wasn't able to stop them forging a key. They're now up 2 keys to 0, and down comes both Troll and Ganger Chieftain. And of course that means that he can ready and fight with Troll. Take a wild guess which creature he's going to go after. I'm assuming it's Mother. It's got to be Mother, quite frankly. Because Mother's letting me draw an extra card. Mother's making his keys more expensive. I mean, at this stage, Mother is really putting in a shift. It's fair to assume that Mother's probably going down here. My other creatures just aren't as good. So, Mighty Javelin's coming down. You get to sacrifice it and deal 4 to a creature, plus you get an Ember bonus when you play it. And this is a part of the game where I'm just desperately hoping that Gengar isn't going to... Oh, sorry, they can't fight. I played Fogify last turn. I was wondering why they weren't going, so they reap with Troll. They couldn't fight because I played Fogify. I played a lot last turn. So the good news is they haven't got enough to win next turn. I've finally forged a key, so I'm only down by 1 key. They're not winning the game next turn. Time is on my side for the moment. So I've got a Mars turn now. In theory, you'd think I'd pick up Biometric Backup from the archives, play it down, get an Ember bonus, all of that good stuff. And there we go. So I'm not in full... Now, I'm going to make a mistake here. This is my first turn playing on the Crucible. I assumed I had to select my 2 friendly Mars creatures. What I did was to do 2 damage to my friendly Mars creatures. It doesn't end up making a difference. I didn't quite realize how the Crucible worked. But it's not going to make a difference, so it really doesn't matter. The good news is I am reaping with Ulig Megamouth, which lets me use a friendly non-Mars creature. And then I'm reaping with Mother as well, which is nice, getting myself some Ember. And I'm going to reap a third time with me Vezimer Think Drone. And that means that I'm at least building up a little bit of an Ember stockpile here. Now, I don't think I can get up to 6 here because I've got biometric backup, but that's only going to put me... No, sorry. Biometrics backup will now put me up to 6. It hadn't quite counted the Ember for reaping yet. So I can, in theory, put myself down to reap next turn. So, I'm actually just playing Vezimer Think Drone reaping and then archiving it. I don't need it down there. Now I'm playing Ammonia Clouds. I don't mind losing my creatures. What I wanted to do was get the damage down for my opponent. I wanted to get their, just the damage down. I didn't mind losing my creatures there. So Ammonia Clouds, it worked out quite nicely for me. Then I get the biometrics back up. And my library access has actually come back round again. And my opponent still needs to pay 8 because I've still got my Jammer Pack down, which is lovely. And if you look at my hand there, I've got my library access, I've got 1 phase shift. I could have a fairly nice Logos turn next turn, in theory. And I am ready to reap. Reaping is an option here. Unless my opponent is able to stop me, to get a bunch of my Ember off the board. And let's face it, right, getting Ember off the board, it is not something they've struggled with so far this game. There comes Bumpsy. Bumpsy comes down, makes me lose an Ember, and all of a sudden I'm not reaping next turn. So, if I had reaped next turn, then that would essentially give me a chance. I've got 2 keys, they've got 2 keys. I keep saying reap, I mean forge a key. If I can get to 2 keys each, that gives me a chance. With my opponent being a key ahead and me not forging next turn, that's a bad thing. Oh, and as a side note, Mighty Javelin has taken down Mother. Troll has taken down Auxiliary Marauder. And this is not looking great. I've not been able to keep creatures on the board. Gengar's got a good set of creatures here. Between the Knights of Sanctum, between all of these Brobar creatures, he's just been clearing my board every turn. The good news is he's not winning the game next turn, which is nice. He has got rid of Jammer Pack, unfortunately, but he's not winning the game next turn. I've still got time. I've still got time, ladies and gentlemen. The question is, do I go Logos here or do I go Dis to try and be a little bit tricksy? Which is going to be the better of the two? I want to say Logos here. Because you got the library access, because phase shift, because there are free Logos artifacts in play, I can get some Logo stuff done here. Might be that Dis is better the following turn. So yeah, okay, I'm glad about that. I did choose Sanctum. Obviously, I'm commentating this after the fact, if you hadn't already guessed. Logos. Logos did seem like the better option there. So I play my library access straight away, and now every time I play a card, I'm getting another one. Now, I've also got my phase shift down, so I can use a non-Logos card. And hopefully I use a non-Logos card, draw a Logos card, and I keep this train rolling. Shula's lovely here. My opponent had 4 Embers, so I got to steal 1. Now I'm back up to 6, and I am ready next turn. And I've got myself a Fogify, so I can play that. And my opponent cannot fight with their creatures next turn. And we can see, like this whole game, I have been undone by fighting. That is not ideal. So the good news is, there's no fighting. I'm up to 7 Ember here. And now I'm back to a nervy turn. I know that my opponent is playing a whole bunch of cards that can steal Ember. I mean, they're playing Shadows, for goodness sake. I made a whole video about how Shadows steal Ember. Oh, no, I think I'm still going, actually. I think I'm still going. So I'm playing Chaos Portal here, and I think I've ended up playing Pandemonium. Now, my opponent did steal an Ember, but then again, I got an Ember playing it, I stole an Ember, and now I'm going crazy. Killing Machine, I'm getting rid of Gauntlet of Command, which has caused me a lot of problems here. And oh no, I'm getting rid of Troll, sorry. I'm getting rid of Troll, it turns out. which is nice. I don't like Troll. Troll's been a thorn in my side this game. And I also discarded Smash and Lab Work. Not amazing cards. No, I'm going to do too much there. So, this turn I've set myself up quite nicely. My opponent's only got 2 Ember. I've got 7 Ember. I've got some damage down. I've done quite a lot of good stuff here. I've got their Troll off the board. And now my opponent's sitting there knowing I'm going to forge a key next turn. I can even let them steal an Ember. If they only steal 1 Ember, I'm cool. It is if they steal more than 1 Ember that I start getting a little bit sad. I'm still in this. So they do manage to get themselves an Ember there, which is slightly annoying. Oh, but they don't have much. That was a very, very, very slow turn. So now they're not forging a key next turn. I've just forged a key. And now I've actually got a turn after being down 2 keys to 0. If I can get enough Ember to forge a key and my opponent can't stop me, I can win this game. It's got to be a dis turn. And I'm looking at Hecatomb. I am looking at Hecatomb here. Hecatomb lets you destroy all your disc creatures and gain an Ember for each one destroyed, and it's got an Ember bonus. But first, now, you're going to see a little mistake here. If I'm going to be picking up the cards with Hysteria, I really should reap with my creature before I do this. It's not relevant in the end, but I should have reaped before I played the Hysteria, because reaping would have given me an extra Ember. But I get my opponent's creatures off the field, I get my Ember back, which is important. I can then replay Shula, which lets me steal an Ember, which is lovely. They had more than 4, I got to steal 1. Now I get to play the Terror, and now I'm actually going to have enough Ember to forge a key. I play Stealer of Souls down as well, and now when I play Hecatomb, I gain 4 Ember. 1 for the Ember bonus for playing Hecatomb, 3 for destroying all of my creatures, and now, if my opponent cannot get rid of 2 of my Ember, I'm actually going to win the game by playing down a bunch of disc creatures and then playing Hecatomb. This will be the comeback just so long as they aren't able to steal 2 Ember. 3 Ember, sorry, 2 Ember and I'd still be done. They've got to get rid of 3 Ember to stop me forging a key, and the fact they've not done anything so far tells me they're probably not going to be able to do it. This is why Hecatomb is such a good card. I just got 4 Ember in one go by playing Hecatomb there, and I didn't reap with Shula the first time, which I should have done. I would have been on 9 Ember, but I've put my opponent in a position where unless they can get rid of 3 of my Ember, I win the game right now, coming back from 2 keys down, which is not something you can do all of that often. I know that the library access phase shift combo helped me out massively. It's one of the things I really like about the deck. This is one of my 2 decks that I would consider quite good of the 6 I've opened, and it's what I like. But the disc suite in this deck as well is really good. Now, they are playing Bump C, they're stealing 1, but I don't think that's going to be enough here. I don't think they're going to be able to do that. They've got some reaping going on, they're building up, but I don't think they're actually going to be able to steal enough Ember here, and I think that means I'm going to win the game. Now, they do play a Troll, but that's fine. Anything that doesn't steal Ember, and they haven't done it, 2 keys down, and I bring it back to win. This is an extremely powerful house. Hecatomb, ladies and gentlemen. Hecatomb was what won that for me. So you know the deal at this stage. Make sure you comment, make sure you like, make sure you subscribe if you haven't done so already. Go nuts in the comment section, but do remember to be nice. And follow me on Twitter at the Wossy, where I rant about stuff and talk about games. And if you want to see more of these recorded games with commentary, let me know. Also, let me know if having the cards on the screen that I'm putting there helps. It takes a long time to put them on there, but I think it makes for a better viewing experience. Do let me know. But by far the most important thing as always, look after yourselves until next time. Thank you very much for watching. My name's Ross, and you've been watching Wossy Plays.